Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about BACCM, that is Business Analysis Core Concept Model. I hope you like my previous session on business analyst, that is we discuss on the what is and who is business analyst. Number two, we discuss about the skills required to be business analyst. And at last we discuss about the stakeholders, that who are the stakeholders, how we categorize them into the stakeholder list. And today topic is very much important because in this topic we are going to discuss about the core concept. So core concept basically the terms which we are going to be used in coming slides or coming discussions, coming videos. So you should know that what is the meaning of those words, in what context, and how we're pronouncing, or how not also pronouncing, basically how we're taking these terms into the practical scenarios. Then we able to understand this BACCM model. So let's start with the today's session of the BACCM. The business analysis core concept model basically will discuss about these 5 to 6 points initially, that says what is a BACCM. So I'll go through these lines one by one so that we can understand that what is the meaning of this. The business analysis core concept model is a conceptual framework. Again, this is a framework which give you a kind of a boundary, kind of a set of the things, set of the terms. By using those terms, you can develop the solution. You can see that what is my need, what is the change I need into this particular system or particular environment. It encompasses what business analysis is and what it means to those performing business analysis tasks, regardless to perspective, industry, methodology, or level in the organization. It means, say, let's suppose if company says that I want to be launch a new product. So these six terms, these are the six terms which are going to be discussed in the coming slides. These six terms be work as it is, irrespective of the perspective that what are going to be changed, industry, methodology, or service into the organization. It means if I say that for me, I'm sitting in India, water means S2 is water for me, and the same thing for USA guys as well, water is S2O for them. So regardless to the industry, methodology, or level in the organization, that on which level I'm producing or going to give a solution, these concepts will be the same always. It is composed of the six terms that have a common meaning to all business analysts. So it doesn't mean that for me this term has some different meaning, for you a different meaning. That is when we start for the business analyst, the role or the position started with the business analyst. So people should know that what are the terms a business analyst is using, so that complete in the complete product development part, these terms should be work as a consistent. There's no difference between the thinking of you and me as a business analyst, that for me the words has some different meaning, and for me the words have some different meaning. The next one, that is it includes a six core concept, that is a change, need, solution, stakeholder, value, and the context. Don't worry, we're going to discuss these six concepts in deep and detail in the next slide. So now, as for till now, we came to know that these are the six terms which is basically used into the business analysis core concept model. So the meaning of these six will be same for any of the business analysts working across the world, across the universe, and these six terms will be the same across the industries, methodology, the level of the organization. No single concepts hold a greater importance. Very much important. Don't say that change has a greater importance, need has a greater importance. Every concept is equal important. So if I say that in a life, husband and wife both are the equal participant to run a life, in the same way, no, you cannot say the mother, or you cannot say the male or the female, that male is the more important, not the female is important. So in this area as well, in this context as well, we discuss these things in the same manner. In the last one, these concepts are instrumental to understanding the type of the information elected analysis or managing the business analysis task. So these concepts will use into the next coming stages of the business analysis, or the concepts, or the activities or tasks, and we will use this as it is, because these are required to manage the business analysis task. Hope guys, till now this is very much clear. So we are moving to the next slide now, which says the six core concept of this model, that is BACCM model. So the first one, that is change, second is need, third is solution, fourth is stakeholder, fifth is value, and sixth is context. I know many of us, not many of us, everybody know that what is the meaning of these particular six terms. But as a business analyst, the concept should be clear to each and everyone, so that when I, as a business analyst, start the discussion into an organization and the project, they should know that what is the meaning of this and what is I'm referring. So what is the start with the we'll start with the one first term that is called the change, the act of transformation in response to a need. Very much important here. Need, you say Atul, you are talking about the need, but need is the next term. So I'll just read these concepts one by one and give you the complete description in the going forward. Change works to improve the performance of any enterprise. These improvements are deliberated and controlled through the business analysis activities. So now I'll pick up the first line that is called the act of transformation in response of a need. So if I take a normal example, that in the initial days when 90s, 80s, 90s, when the mobile phone was invented, basically I'll not say 90s, basically 90s, 60s, 70s, it is near about in that areas when the first terms of mobile has been thought into someone's minds. So they say let's, what the need is basically, because the people think that I want to connect one person sitting in my I'm sitting in my home and I want to connect to the other person who's sitting is in his or her home. So that was a need, and to fulfill that need, they transform the concept of telephone to the mobile phone. It means from unwired to the sorry, a wired to the unwired concept. Change works to improve the performance of an enterprise. Yes, the change always be work kind of improve the performance of any of the enterprise. Suppose if I say that nowadays we have a chimney in our homes for in the kitchens basically. So that product, that change basically from the simple stove gas, I can say we're going to the chimney, so it is automatically taking the particular things from your gas and putting it outside of the kitchen. So that is the performance has been increased. The people are not feeling so much sweaty in the kitchens when they're cooking some foods due to these things. These improvements and deliberate and control to the business analysis activity. Yes, everybody know that to fulfill a change, we need some set of activities, and that is always be controlled by the business analyst. No one say and no one come up into the organization and say, okay, let's change this thing. No, there's a process of changing the things into the organizations, and that can be carried out to the always with the business analysis activities. Need is the say a problem or opportunity to be addressed. So if I take a current example, we all are be in every country there's a virus is called coronavirus is there, and people are getting the opportunities to address these things. So maybe someone say let's start the online education, let's start the online trainings, let's start the online schools, and most of the IT companies are allowing work from home. It means, and to fulfill these things, other companies come into the picture, like if I say that Zoom, Microsoft Teams, these are the softwares who get this opportunity and building their softwares, improving their software day by day and selling to the customer, so that everybody can use that part. So that is a need now, that because in current scenario everybody want be on internet, everybody want to work from home so that he can connect with the customers or the clients or the subordinates, the colleagues to the some kind of a software. And these companies like Zoom, Microsoft are searching or find out something that can be built up on this particular things. So need can cause change by motivating stakeholders to act. Yes. So we are the, for the, if I take an example of the Zoom or the Microsoft, basically Microsoft Teams. So we are their stakeholders. We cause that part, and they are motivating, and we motivate them, build something good, so that with the less bandwidth I can connect with my colleague over the call, over the video call, to some other location as well. Changes can also cause needs by eroding or enhancing the value delivered by the existing solutions. So earlier also we have the Zoom, earlier also we have the Microsoft Teams, but very less people, very less companies are using that part. But as soon as the need has been raised, that they make the changes recently, and they are improving the performance to the existing solutions. They're not building a new software. They are just enhancing the solutions. They are enhancing the things onto the existing solutions only. Next part is the solution. So you see that every core concept, if I say the example of this one, you can see that change has the need word, need has the solution word. So what is the solution basically here? The solution A specific way of satisfying one or more needs in a context. Now we'll again say Atul, context is there. Yes, context is the last one we'll see. So a specific way of satisfying one or more needs in a context. So Microsoft, I can say the teams cannot work in each and every area. They have some specific context that if internet is available, only then it will work. If you have at least 2 Mbps speed, only then it can be work. If you have at least 6 Mbps speed, only in that case it will work. It will work if you have the inbuilt camera or you attach some USB camera into the system. So this is the solution for a specific need into that particular context. Because we are doing the work from home, that reason we have to be use these Microsoft Teams. But in the office we have the big cameras or VC video conferencing. You just go there, click on the your VC's logins, and you can connect with a team with your colleagues as well. A solution satisfies a need by resolving a problem faced by the stakeholders or enabling stakeholders to take advantage of an opportunity. This is very much important. By using the Microsoft Team or Zoom, it is resolving my problem now. See, to for my personal connect, I can still use the team. I can still use the WhatsApp call, but in WhatsApp I can connect maximum 4 people at a time. But Zoom remove this functional remove or overcome this problem, and they say okay, you can connect the 8 or 10 people in the same time. So that is the benefit they're giving at point of time. It means this is the solution which is accepted by me as a stakeholder, or I'm taking enabling this to get more advantage of this opportunity basically. Next is the stakeholder is very much important from the perspective of business analyst. He or she should know that who is the stakeholder. Stakeholder basically group or individual with a relationship to the change, the need or the solution. So if you see that for the WhatsApp, I am a stakeholders and they release the beta version for different changes. So a group or the individual with a relationship to the change, because I am directly interacting, I am daily using the WhatsApp, so I am a stakeholder for them. Stakeholders are often defined in a term of interest in, impact on, influence over the chain. So if as I read a news a few days back that now Microsoft Teams launch a new functionality that if you are on the video call you can blur or you can make your background is very much good. It means by their change I am impacting, I'm influencing them. So I am one of the stakeholder for them, and if I think it's good I will share my feedback. If I see that it is not good, I will share my feedback to improve so that they can improve some other things for me. Then it become a need, they go for the change and they provide a solution for the same. Stakeholders are group based on the relationship to the needs, change or solution. Yes, it is very much important. So now you see that in the stakeholder, as I already discussed, that we have the change, need and the solution. This is very much important to be understand. Value. In simple terms, value is something that can fulfill my things is a value for me. So if I say that a car is a valuable for me because if I want to travel to 1,000 kilometers, I can go by car. Or the flight is a value for me because I have to travel to 15,000 or 2,000 kilometers, so I can use the flight. So the worth, importance, or usefulness of something to a stakeholder within a context. Again, in a context, I'm saying that you cannot use the flight to just go to the market of the 2 kilometers only. You can use the flight if you want to travel to thousands miles away from the place you are. So in this case I can say this the worth, importance, very much important. These terms are also available in ITIL ITIL as well, ITSM as well, and it is very much important from the customer perspective. So it says that the value is basically the worth, importance, or the usefulness of a something to a stakeholder within the context. Context we are going to be discussed in the next part. Value can be seen as a potential or realized returns, gains, and improvements. So basically, if I say that flight has a value for me, earlier we have just to be traveled to the car from 1,000 kilometers, but as soon as the flights come into the picture, the rates are very cheap, so the ticket rates are very cheap. We can fly in 2 hours, 3 hours. I can travel to US in 18 hours instead of going by car or the ship, something else. It take a lot of time. So the values are the seen as a potential realized returns. That is return that I can save my time. I can reach to the place quickly. Gains and improvements also. It is also possible to have a decrease in the value of the form of the losses. Maybe it can reduce my loss. Nowadays what happened there, if there's something happened to the family, emergency happened in the family, and you are sitting in maybe some other part of the country or the other part of the world, you can travel over these things. So it reduce your losses, basically risk as well. Value can be tangible or intangible. Intangible, I take example like like company reputation is an intangible kind of assets. The last part, that is the context. Context is basically the circumstances that influence are influenced by and provided understanding of the change. So if I say that now the context is that if any new app is coming which can help me and my colleagues, my office customers or the clients to interact on a single pace, that is, I can say, the context. Nowadays, if any video app is coming, it is in the context of this particular area. Nowadays, you can see that lot of apps are coming which say that just download this app, fill your details. You can see that who is the corona infected person in your nearby area. So they building this app only the context of this coronavirus. Now changes occur within the context. The context is everything relevant to the change that is within the environment. Again, it's a particular environment. Context can be include your attitudes, behavior, beliefs, competition, cultures. In any concept you can do that part. So nowadays you can see that a lot of companies are building video conferencing softwares or apps like Google, we can see the Zoom, Hangouts, Microsoft Teams. So a lot of companies are building on this context that if tomorrow every company wants that their customer, their person or their employee should be work from home 80 to 90%, then they need this kind of a thing. So they're building in the context of this particular stuff. So with this I can say that change needs solution, stakeholder value, and the context is completely over. And these meanings of this particular term should be the same for every business analyst. In the next slide, we're going to be say that when as a business analyst I am going to start a planning or performing a task or technique, what question should be in my mind, or what question should I ask basically to myself first, so that I can get the answer. So what are the kind of changes we are doing? It's like business changes, or I can say the customer changes or the database changes kind of thing. A lot of things are there. So I'll not go into deep dive of this because these are the coming the next slide, next sessions as well. What are the needs we are trying to be satisfied? Like it's an individual need, it's an organization need, it's a nation need, it's a country need, it's a universe need. What are the solution we are creating or changing? Are we building a new solution, or are we building a or are we using the current existing system and building some changing on that part? Who are the stakeholders who are involved? What are the sorry who are the stakeholders involved in this particular things? What do stakeholders consider to be value? What is the value for the particular stakeholder? What are the context that we need and the solution are in? Yes, that is important again. So on the basis of these 6 points, a business analyst asks these 6 questions to himself so that he can dig out something, and then he can go into the organization and ask these things so that he can understand the requirements, so that he can start the other process. In the next slides, we're going to be discuss the key terms involved to be a business analyst, basically, so that going forward, when we use these words, people should not be confused that we know this meaning or not. So business analyst basically practice enabling change into the enterprises. A core point which we already discussed in our slides as well. Business analysis information very much important. So business analysis information is a broad and diverse set of the information that business analysts analyze, transform, and the report. So if I want to build anything for my customers, so I should know the basic information. Again, the 6 question, you can say these 6 questions should know, then I can go ahead with the same thing. So it includes the example of the business analysis information includes allocations, results, requirement, design, solution options, solution scope, and the change strategy. That how this will be implemented. Design is basically a usable representation of a solution. The things which I can say is on the paper is a design for me. So like if I say that I want to build, I want my house, and I go to the architect. Architect said, boss, this is the way your house will be look like. It can be 2D, 3D, or simple normal paper. So it has become a design for me. Design basically focus on the understanding how value might be realized by solution if it is built. So by seeing the architect design of the house, you can see, okay, now I'm getting this benefit. I have the garage, I have the swimming pool, I have the garden, I have a rooms, I have everything is there. So the nature of the representation may be document. So it sometimes it requires a single document, or sometimes it's required multiple document. Again, depends on the context of the circumstances. Enterprise basically a kind of a company, I can say. Enterprise is a system of one or more organizations. The solution they are pursue a shared set of common goals. It means when we have a common goals to be achieved, like every organization say that minimum effort should put by my employee to get these information. So we are building they everybody is on the common goal, and they're building the solutions for the same only. For the purpose of the business analyst, enterprise boundaries can be defined related to the change. So if I say that I'm building a software only for the finance department, so my boundaries has been set up to that level. I cannot go to the HR level, HR, or maybe the other legal team or something that okay, it is going to be work for you. No, I have the boundaries that is be finance. Organization basically an autonomous group of people under the management of a single individual or board that works towards a common goal. Again, the companies we call is the organization basically. Plan, yes, important. A plan is a proposal for doing or achieving something. And if you see that on the this slide, you see that a business analysis activities. So it means that to to start these activities, we should a business analyst should have a plan. Plan describe a set of events, dependency on the events, the expected sequence of the events, the schedule, the results, or the material resources needed, and the stakeholders involved in that part. So if I say that I have a plan, or I want to be launch a new product, so like we have a kick-off meetings, then have the requirement gathering, then we have design meetings, then we go for the development, then SIT, then UAT, then migration, then finally go live, and finally available the things to the end users. Requirement is a usable representation of a need. It is like this only need which we discuss here. So it says the requirement is a usable representation of a need. Requirements focus on the understanding what kind of value could be delivered if requirement is be fulfilled. Yes. So basically, again, requirement is more related associated with the value, because if I say that I'm going to purchase a house, what value I'm getting from purchasing that house, that is important here. So the same thing a business analyst should be into the into in have into mind, that if customer is saying this requirement, then what value he or she is getting from this particular requirement. The nature of the representation may be again set of documents. Again, that is the things. Risk. A risk is basically a uncertainty on the value of a change, solution, or the enterprise. Nobody knows that this coronavirus we going is impact the across the world in heavy manner. So now is a risk which impacting our existing changes or solution or the enterprises. So being a business analyst, he collaborated with the different stakeholders to identify, assess, and prioritize the risk to deal with those risks, alternating likelihood, the conditions. So it means nowadays, if you see that every company's big shot, C's levels, the people on the who are sitting in the C levels, they are just doing these things, that how I can minimize the risk of my stakeholders, my customers, my employees, basically. So it includes the mitigating the consequences. Can I reduce this work from home, the or the bandwidth issues with to my customers, employees? Removing the source of the risk. Can I remove this coronavirus if possible? Avoiding the risk altogether by deciding not to start or continue with an activity that leads to the risk. Again, sharing the risk with other parties, or maybe accepting or even increasing the risk to deal with an opportunity. Again, so now this is a risk that people need to work from the home, and other companies are getting this opportunity to building a new software so that people can sitting in the home by using this mobile phone or the laptops can interact with other people across the world. So friends, this is the basically a concept and the key terms on the top on the BACCM model, that the business analyst course concept model. Hope you like this video. Please share your feedback, comments, or any advice, any responses into the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel to encourage us, because me encourage us. Your encouragement, your words, kind words help me to improve more and more. We'll meet you. I'll meet you soon with another session of the business analyst. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.